Hi guys, Sarah Watson here. This is my screencast for EAD 6001 Tech for School Administrators. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is our leading 21st century schools, the standards and visions. So one of the most important kind of things that I got from our very first lesson was the ISTE standards, especially for school administrators. It's not something that I had thought about necessarily prior to this lesson. And kind of really helped me sort of see the differences in my current role as an educator and administrators. One of the really cool things and a topic that I kind of used as a theme throughout was that teachers need to be facilitators for students, and the administrators will be the facilitators for teachers. Meaning, making sure that funding is available or that PD is available. And what goes along with that would be the administrators need to be effective in evaluating effectiveness of both technology programs as well as kind of the effectiveness of educators in using those programs, and then seeking out resources for maybe someone who's struggling, just to make sure that they can be as effective as possible. The ISTE standards, especially kind of the visionary leadership, is the one that really caught my eye. Making sure that as an administrator you're able to kind of think outside the box and sort of move forward, move your school forward, and making sure that you're using best practice and that it's improving and enhancing the learning. Next up would be the new tools for teaching and learning. This is, again, kind of the theme of administrators need to be visionaries for their schools, and also seek out mentors. So if you're not great with something, there's somebody who is, and you need to be seeking those people out so that they can help you integrate or bring in programs and technology that's going to overall boost performance for students and educators at the same time. Whatever it takes. Sometimes that's our district motto, is learning whatever it takes. And that can be technology, as long as we're making sure that we connect it to the students' lives. This was the week where we were able to watch the video, and we had the option of 4 videos. And the one I watched was where the kids took out the technology into the prairie, and we're kind of using that technology to really connect it to their lives and how to, rehabilitate that prairie. So it was a great example of making sure we're not using technology just because we have it, but because it can make a connection. Those students in that video were so empowered because they knew that their, research was going to actively help a part of their community. And kind of the last part is to make sure you're not afraid to take risks. As administrators, educators, we're asking students to take risks all the time and not be afraid to fail. So we need to make sure that we are willing and able to support teachers taking risks in education, and make sure that, it's okay to fail sometimes, as long as it teaches us something and then we're able to move forward. So here, I loved this little picture. Kind of an active use that, make sure we're not passively using technology. We're not using it as substitution for something that we've just always done in the past. So I really liked that. Next up, instructional strategies for teaching and learning. Holy cow, Flipgrid. How did I not know about Flipgrid before this? I'm going to share this slideshow, and this is actually a link here, 15 ways to use Flipgrid in your classroom. So as admin, we are sometimes always, I would assume naturally, worried about, purchasing and budgets and things like that. So this was a look at each school's technology, plan and how that's working, who's part of it, what kinds of things affect decision making. This was the article, Does Technology Pay?, which was really eye-opening for me, and one of the absolute most important takeaways for me from this was, what's the next best thing? Are we buying technology just to say, hey, we've got it, let's use it? Or is it really the next best, is it that, could something else work just as well, and we don't have to fork out a ton of money for it? So I think it's important to make sure that technology matches whatever it is that students and teachers are doing in classrooms, and also make sure that to be an active participant in technology plans for the districts. It was interesting to hear other people's thoughts and ideas, and also what their districts are using as a technology plan. I know particularly our district, we have MacBooks, and lots of other districts have Chromebooks. And I'd be interested and curious to see if that's a money thing, and if they're seeing the same or similar results that we are in our district. Next would be increasing communication to build community. You can't underestimate the power of open communication between administrators and teachers, teachers and students, teachers and parents, administrators and parents, school districts and parents. And I just think it's a great opportunity for shared leadership. You might not be good at, Twitter feeds, but I'm sure there's someone who is. Let them take on that role of, keeping that line of communication open. There are tons and tons of tools out there to communicate just in general. Things like Facebook, Twitter, even Peachjar, and you can also receive feedback from parents and communities about, how they feel your district is doing, and you can really use those as a baseline for ways to improve. The last lesson that we did was digital citizenship, which was another really kind of eye-opening, and I actually did research for this on for our blog post. I love this little picture here because I think it's important to understand that you don't have to teach all 9 elements in 2nd grade, and yes, students are not ready for parts of that in each grade. So the 9 elements you can see here. The other topic we spoke about in talking about digital citizenship was kind of who's responsible for teaching it. Administrators versus parents. Lots of districts have social media blocked on, for their students just because they want to take away kind of the risk there. Ultimately, it comes down to that no matter who is in charge of it, somebody needs to be teaching students about digital citizenship and how to use technology appropriately. It's often hard when parents aren't using it appropriately. I know everyone can probably think of an example, somebody's blasting something on Facebook that's just outright rumors or something. And it's just kind of a good learning tool about what happens when you're not taught digital citizenship. So overall, my top 3 takeaways are: administrators need to be visionary leaders. We have to be willing to model and take risks and just show that outside-the-box thinking that is going to be needed moving forward with all of these advances in, yes, technology, but education in general. Second, it's not an all-or-nothing situation when you're talking technology. What fits for someone in one situation is not going to work. What works in kindergarten doesn't work in 5th grade, and what works in 5th grade doesn't work in 12th grade all the time. So you have to make sure it's appropriate, it's useful, and finally, tech should always enhance learning. We should not be using technology just to be using technology. Think of examples of where you're just substituting, and figure out a way to turn it around to make the technology a tool that students can use independently, or that teachers are using to make better lessons for their classroom. I really liked all of the different things I was able to experience through this course. Most importantly, hearing everyone else's ideas and suggestions and opinions I think was really beneficial. So thanks for a great class.